What's going on, everybody? We are back at Beyond the Horizon. I'm excited to deliver this message. We're in a new year now. I appreciate you joining me here again. If this is your first time, please take a moment to subscribe. And once you're done with this, leave a comment, share it with somebody if you think it's beneficial to them. My goal with this whole thing is to just help expand your thinking, whether it be from my experiences or those that we have on the podcast. And yeah, it's been fun, and I'm really excited for 2026 and what things we are going to make happen here. So what I want to share with you today are 6 truths in 2026. Look, I know that this is the time of year where we set goals and we want to renew, our way of living and reset things and habits and all that stuff, right? But a lot of these things, we don't know what the ultimate outcome is going to end up being. And I just want to share 6 things that are true no matter what in 2026 if you participate in them, right? And the first one I want to start off with is no matter what you did in 2025, God wants to be closer with you in 2026. Look, I don't know where you stand in your spiritual journey and what your beliefs are, but the Creator wants to be closer to you. Now, what does that mean, being closer? I don't know. It's different for everybody. For me, when you're closer to someone, you talk to them more and you participate with them more. And so, one thing that I've been trying to do to be closer is to really incorporate kind of almost like, when those bracelets were super cool, the WWJD, like what would Jesus do? I'm really just looking at some of my daily choices and decisions, like right before I execute, just thinking to myself, like, am I making the right choice here, God? Like, is there anything that I should be seeing that I'm not seeing? Or just even those quick little run by, because I believe that God is amongst us. He's here and we all have equal access to communicating with him. And so how you get closer, there's a lot of different things you can do, but some of the basic fundamentals, and these are some things that I'm doing, getting into his word more. So if you believe in the Bible, dive into the Bible. Just reading that more will allow you to be closer in 2026 than you were in 25 if you weren't doing that every day. Prayer, and it doesn't need to be complicated. It's the simple communication, the way I'm talking to you right now. There doesn't need to be any special delivery. Share your heart, share your desires, share your struggles, but ultimately don't just ask for things when you want them or when you're in trouble. Start to think of prayer as just open communication, like saying, today was a great day. Thanks for that awesome day I had today. Or, man, it was tough, but I want to see what I could learn from today. Whatever it may be. There are so many angles that you can take prayer. Another thing that you can do is get a little more involved in community or friends who also are believing, fellowshipping. Fellowshipping is being around other believers and just living life, but around other people who are also on a journey to be closer to God. So you find your own groove and your own way of doing it. All I'm saying is that I know for a fact, no matter how you lived out last year, that this year, our Creator desires to be even closer to you and to me. And I want to encourage you, because that's the absolute most truth that I could share today, is that no matter how far or distant you were last year, or how committed and on point you were, there's room to get a little closer. And so use this as an encouragement just to find one way to build a habit. Something that I've done for quite a few years now, I set a reminder in my phone, and it goes off 4 times a day. And it just says pray. And it just pops up on my computer or on my phone, on my screen on my truck when I'm driving. And it just says pray. And it really has just been a reminder to me throughout the day to be able to just pause for a second and just reflect on, where am I at right now? And sometimes this thing pops up and I'm in the middle of a Zoom meeting with a client, and I might just have a quick thought when I see it and say, hey, Lord, help this meeting go really well. Help me deliver what I need to. In my mind, while I'm like listening and engaging with them, it's just a boom, pop up, little quick reminder. And other times I might see it and I have nothing else going on and I can actually stop and pause and be a little bit more structured and take a minute to really say, what's on my heart right now? Who's on my heart right now? And who or what can I pray for? But it's just a really simple thing that pops up, maybe something that you want to try. And it's been so easy. And it really helped me eliminate this like stigma or idea that if I was going to pray, like I felt like it used to have to be this whole act. Like I had to be somewhere, I had to be by myself. I had to like close my eyes and cross my hands and this whole thing, which there is a time and a place for that. But prayer is really just conversation with God. Like just talking with him. And yeah, I just want to encourage you, 2026, do a little bit more of that. I am willing to put a guarantee on it that you will have a more fulfilled 2026. Now, I'm not guaranteeing it's going to be easier. It'll come without challenges. If anything, if you draw closer and spend more time with God, it's probably going to have some challenges because you'll begin to be revealed areas that you want to like adjust, mold, or change, and change is never easy. So be ready, but know this. He wants to talk to you and be closer to you in 2026. I believe that wholeheartedly. All right, let's move on to the second one. Making more memories with loved ones in 2026 will be your greatest accomplishment. So what have I done to make sure that 2026, I'm going to make more memories? I'm just trying to be a little bit more intentional about things. I've always kind of lived by the seat of my pants, don't make a lot of plans ahead of time. But when it comes to work and business, everything lives in my calendar. So I bought Jesse Itzler's Big Ass Calendar Club calendar. It's huge. It's like the size of a 55-inch TV, and it's the entire year all up on one calendar, and you get all these different colored stickers you get to put on there to represent things. And I actually gave it away as a Christmas gift, like to the family. And on New Year's, maybe we didn't do it on New Year's Day, but over this last weekend, we rolled it out on the carpet and we started to write down all of our birthdays and what do we want to do for our birthdays and plan out different times of the year that maybe we want to take trips. And what's pretty cool about it is it's got 3 things it tells you to do if you're going to execute right. One of them I think it's called a misogi, and it's like a year-defining event or thing that you want to do, whether it's like an athletic event or a trip you want to take or just something special that you want to do that when you look back, you go, oh, that was the thing that I can use to like kind of sum up. That was the big thing I did in 2026. So you have that. We're still trying to figure out what that is for our family. And then it tells you to mark 6 mini adventures, one every other month for the entire year. And so if you're trying to make more memories with loved ones in 2026, these 6 little adventures can include different people in your lives. For me, I'm trying to look at how can we create 6 out of the ordinary things that we do with our kids. And like Eleanor said that she wants to go to a farm. She wants to go to a farm. She wants to pet animals. She wants to do farm stuff. So we are on the pursuit now to finding that, and we can pick the date and make sure we put that in there. And then it talks about building habits. Every 3 months, put a new habit in there. So that's just something I did. You don't have to go out in there and buy that. And, you know, that's just, I guess, a plug to Itzler's deal. But we were putting it on the calendar. So the point is, I think if you want to make more memories in 2026, something I'm committing to is to just being intentional about it. And I have realized now looking back that, so not all of you know this, but from end of 22 to the end of 23, 14 months total, my wife and 3 kids, we traveled in a 45-foot toy hauler trailer around the country, and we went to new cities roughly every 2 weeks. And throughout that process, I didn't even have to try. Like every day was a new memory, a new experience. We saw sunrises and sunsets and experienced weather and restaurants, and everything was different. But we were just living life. I was working like a madman. We were trying to scale the company. We were going through like all kinds of stuff. So I worked a lot. But that one day a week I took off early, and the weekends where we went and did things, memories were just happening naturally. But now we're like back in the normal setting of things. We're in Orange County. Creating out of the ordinary memories does take more effort. And so I'm committed to that. And I just recommend that you try that. I think looking back, the memories that we create are definitely some of the best achievements. I want business success. I want to accomplish physical fitness success. And I have plans to do this stuff. But when I really look back, or when I hear my kids talk about moments where I'm like, oh man, they remembered that, or they felt impacted by it, that stuff pays dividends to my heart and fills my bucket tenfold anything else I can do for myself. So, man, if you're a parent, I can definitely say that this year in 26, if you spend greater focus on creating memories with people you love, hands down, you're going to feel it as a very successful year where your bucket was filled and you felt rewarded. So that's my number 2 on the list. And I would love to see in the comments if you have ideas or things that you've done that have been great memories that you've created, because I'm looking to expand my mindset on what are some things that we can do, both from like awesome, difficult, expensive, luxurious things that we can aspire to doing. And then just those simple things. If you have any ideas, that would be awesome. I would so appreciate that. All right. Number 3, finally prioritizing your health will pay dividends well beyond 2026. How do I know that? I know that because all the way back 10 years ago in 2016, maybe it was before that even, maybe it was 2015, 16, I made a strong commitment and I dropped weight. I joined a gym, I did a challenge, and I dropped, close to like 50 pounds that year. And the habits that I developed through that process have paid dividends all the way through today. I'm not in the best physical condition right now that I've ever been in, but I did start 75 hard on January 1st. Today is, I believe, the 2nd. I started on the 2nd. Today's day 4, and I'm going for it. And this is my second time ever doing 75 hard. If you don't know 75 hard, Andy Frisella created it. Shout out to him. It's an awesome program, and it really helps you dial in not just physical fitness, commitment to time structure so you can get everything in. You read 10 pages of a book every day, drink a gallon of water, no cheat meals, no alcohol, follow a diet that you've created. And so I'm on that run right now. I'm trying to have some renewed health kick in this year. But anyways, when I first got on the health kick and I lost weight and I got really focused on eating and exercise and I was having a regimen, the reason it paid dividends well beyond the year that I did it was because what it taught me was it gave me a renewed relationship with food and with exercise. And that relationship didn't just go away, and it didn't pay dividends or have a benefit only while I was doing it. Because once you become a person who eats consciously and feeds themselves as a source of fuel, even on the days when you're not acting that way, you will remember and you will think and you will have a sense of like guilt almost, which is okay. Not for everything all the time. You don't want to this sense of guilt with everything. I'm not trying to claim go develop an eating disorder or something, but what it does, it holds you in check is a better way to put it. It holds you in check so that you recognize what standard needs to be in your life. And you could veer away from that for a little bit, but I highly recommend shocking your system, doing something a little extreme for a short period of time, finding out what's possible, then go and decide what is sustainable. But I promise you, if you actually commit in 2026 and you get your health right, it'll pay dividends probably for the rest of your life. It's easier said than done, but it is so important. And so I'll tell you some of the tactics that work for me. I'm a person that I need to attach to extreme things. That's why I decided to do 75 hard, because it's a program that's regimented, but I gotta get to make up the rules inside of the framework. And so I really like that. And another time where I really focused on getting my health together, I ran an ultra marathon from tip to tip on Catalina, 40 miles total, the Trans Catalina Trail, I think it's called. We ran that. That was like an extreme thing. It took a lot of training. You might not be that person. Maybe you need to dip your water in your toe in the water and like kind of ease your way through the shallow end. I don't know. But for me, I need to dive off without testing the water, feel the shock, figure out how to get to the other side. But get your health in order in 2026. Here, I'll throw out a shameless little plug. Policy Engineer, our insurance agency, we sell a life insurance policy that can get you an Apple Watch for $25. This Apple Watch comes with a program through John Hancock, and what it does is it tracks your physical fitness, your heart rate, your activities, your steps, and it compiles it and gets you points. These points are accumulated throughout the year, and it actually drives down the price of your life insurance. Also earns you discounts at places like REI, Expedia for travel, Headspace, the meditation app. It'll pay for your Amazon Prime membership. All things that are just positive influences on your life, but it gets you an Apple Watch for $25 plus tax. So if you want something to help you track and really get on the ball, and we all need life insurance of some type, so maybe you get a review. You can go to policyengineer.com to get more information about that. But ultimately, it's a cool little deal. Track all your steps. Gamifying things works, okay? And so gamifying your health is something I'd recommend. I have an app called Strava. I go on there. I track all my steps when I take walks and stuff. So anyway, just an idea. Getting your health in order. You know, one more thing I'll throw out there, a weighted vest. I've been doing walks in the morning, checking my emails, scheduling out my day, confirming my calendar, returning texts and things of that nature. I could do all of those while I'm walking. I'm doing my outdoor workout for 75 hard, wearing a weighted vest. I think it's 32 or 35 pounds. And I'll tell you, it's crazy because it makes me feel the physical exertion that I would have felt when I was 30-something pounds heavier back in the day. But I get to unbuckle it and take it off when I'm done. So I'm sweaty at the end of a 2.5 to 3 mile walk, where I probably wouldn't be if I didn't have the weighted vest on. So it just cranks up the calorie burn a little bit. It's super easy to do, and I'm able to be productive during that entire time. So anyway, that is my number 3 item on the list. Moving to number 4, making time to do things you love will improve your mental health. Now, I know there are studies out there that will prove and back what I'm saying, but what are things that you love? Well, I think an easy way to define that is, what's something that you would do even if you weren't paid for it? If you would do it even if you weren't paid for it, if you would help somebody with it even if you weren't paid for it, you probably love it enough. And so everyone's got a different list of things. For me, I love getting in the ocean and going surfing. And if I can't surf or the waves suck, I love being at the beach. I love the sand in my toes, the sound of the waves crashing, the smell of the salt water. It is a visceral experience that for me is like that feeling of like, oh my God, God is real and he created all this stuff, okay? But for everyone, I mean, there's different things for different people. Finding time to do the things that are truly the desires of your heart. Promise they improve your mental health. They make you be in a frame of mind where you carry yourself around people better. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but good little session in the ocean. I come back out. My spirits are shifted for a while. And there's only a handful of things in my life that can make that happen. And so what's something that you like to do? And now you can combine these. Earlier, I talked about making memories with loved ones. And so how do you combine the things you love with the people you love? But you've got to audit and look and find time for it. It's so important. And I know that there are many of us out there, you've even forgotten, what are some of the things that you love to do? It could be as simple as just reading. Maybe you love to read. That's not my love. I do it because I know it's good for me. But maybe you love to read. Maybe you love to journal. Maybe you love to watch movies. When's the last time you picked a cool flick and you sat back and watched a movie, or you went to the movie theater and gorged out on some popcorn and a soda? I don't know. But those things that you love, they don't all have to be extravagant, expensive, or ultra time consuming. I mean, I know my brother, he's an avid golfer. He loves to golf. He doesn't golf as much as he used to, but I know that's the thing on his list. But how can you scratch that itch when sometimes it's hard to go play 18 holes? Well, maybe you can play 9 holes, or maybe just go into these virtual training centers and spending 30 minutes just swinging and hitting balls, or going to the driving range. I don't know, but what I do want to encourage you is go pick one thing and start putting it on your calendar and making the time to do something that you truly love for yourself, and watch some creative spark get ignited, some extra energy coming into your job, a little bit of a different attitude towards your wife and your kids, because it fills your bucket. It puts you in a healthy space. All right. Number 5, how you spent your money in 2025 does not determine how you will spend it in 2026. I'm a financial advisor. I meet with people every week. Many of them have actually no idea how they're spending their money. And so just getting a grip on understanding how you spent it will help reshape how you will spend it this year, because you get a little bit of an audit. And so the first thing I want you to know is that if you want to feel financial change in your life, however it's happened in the past does not predetermine how it happens in the future. But these are habits that we create. So I am personally going through an audit right now and looking at how we can make refinements and adjustments in 2026 in how we spend our money. But I just want to encourage you, do the same. And one of the best ways to do it is to just look back at how you spent it. Download one of these apps. There's many of them where you link up your accounts that you spent from, your bank accounts and your credit cards, and you look, and it'll categorize things for you. Look and see how you spent it and make a decision. Do you want to spend it the same way? Did you spend 20 or 30% of your income on your housing? Are you spending $1,500 a month on a vehicle that you don't even really love? How much did you pay in insurance? How much did you spend on eating out? Once you look at it, you can start to determine and say, do I want a repeat of that? If you did everything right, then follow it. The other thing you can look at is when you see what percentage of your income you spent on things, if you want to impact that, there's 2 ways. You can obviously reduce how much you spend, but you can also bring in more. By auditing and looking at what money came in and where money went out, you can start to see whether or not you're comfortable with how much you're bringing in. Maybe 2026 is a breakout year for you to push to figure out, how do you get a promotion? How do you make a lateral move to another company? How do you finally go and start that business or break out into a new industry? I don't know. You've got to answer those questions for yourself. But I'm willing to bet many of us, when we look at this, would agree that you would feel really good about spending a little bit more money in 2026 on assets. And that's something I'm committed to, is spending more money on acquiring assets. This is the game. This will help you elevate. This will help you increase your opportunity to have passive income at some point. So anyways, there's a lot of different ways that you could go with that. But what I want to tell you is to just give you permission that just because you did it one way in the past, that does not mean that's how you have to do it in the future. You want to get things right, start by just looking at what's going on. All right, let's wrap this up with number 6. Improving your financial literacy in 2026 will get you one step closer to financial freedom. Look, the average person does not know the rules of the money game in America, doesn't know the ins and outs of the tax code, doesn't even know what the difference is between spending money on a debit card and a credit card, or how to determine if a loan is good or bad, how to buy a car, do things like that. There are so many pieces to financial literacy. So I have spent going on 17 years in financial services. I have a pretty good grip on financial literacy, how things work, what things mean, how products and investments and bank accounts and loans. I know that I know a lot more than the average person. I still have room to learn because the game is vast and it's ever changing. But I'll tell you this, if you do want to learn more, one thing you can do, follow me, the People's Advisor, because I'm committed to putting out high quality content all of 2026 to help educate people more on understanding this game of money and finance in America. And so if you want to up your financial literacy game, follow me. And then I'll be sharing a list of other people that I believe are credible and people that you also can follow and get good information from. But man, I would commit. Good place to go to is Investopedia. Go check out Investopedia. You can go through there. They have awesome little educational videos that are like 30 seconds to a minute long, and they'll teach you all kinds of things about investing and banking and different types of assets and strategies. But you got to up your game. I mean, the number one complaint in probably the world has to do with money. The number one reason divorces happen has to do with money. The number one reason that people fall into feeling like a sense of depression is usually because of money. So I just want to encourage you this year, make a commitment that you are going to start to spend time and energy studying and understanding how the rule book works for this. I mean, shoot, I remember as a kid that I went out there and I was playing baseball, t-ball, and I didn't really understand the rules of the game. And it wasn't that fun to me because I just always was worried I was doing something wrong. I was in my head. I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know how to be good at it. And so it was like, I couldn't get into it. It's the same thing with money. You know, it can be intimidating to want to invest and restructure things right and build budgets and all that stuff, but it's just one step at a time. So my encouragement to you, if you're listening to this, is that you just commit to learning a little bit more. Maybe once a week, go and look up one definition of one financial thing. Subscribe to some of these different newsletters and just read up and better understand it. Or just start following some credible people so that in your feed randomly, you start to get educational things that improve your literacy around finances. Because it's what makes the world go round, and it seems to be that the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. The gap only gets bigger and bigger. And so as this gap gets bigger and bigger, which side of the gap do you want to be on? I think all of us want to be on the side where we're getting richer. So I'm encouraging you, just start. I think 2026 is going to be a breakout year. I'm super excited for what's to come in our business, in my personal life. But a lot of that is because I have this renewed sense of intention. And so if there's just one word that you hold for 2026, I would say intention. Do things on purpose. Do things with design. Do things because you believe that they are one step towards getting you where it is you want to be. So look further than the naked eye has been able to see, and I challenge you to take 2026 well beyond the horizon you had ever expected. I appreciate you guys. Again, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you keep this stuff in your ecosystem. Share this with at least one person that you think would benefit from it. And before we chime out of here, I'm just going to say a prayer over you for this new year. Lord, I thank you so much again for the opportunity to get behind this mic. Anyone who's listening to this, I pray that they're encouraged and that this year, if they only pick one thing from the list I just gave, that they lean into the truth that you want to be closer to them and that you put on their heart, how is it that they can do that? I pray that we get intentional and that just as a whole society, 2026 can be a year where we all see growth, improvement, positivity, and deeper connection with the people that we love. In Jesus' name, amen.